Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to another edition of Poke Culture, coming to you from the beautiful studios of Radio Titans in Los Angeles. And as always, I'm one of your co-hosts, Carl Kozlowski, and with me is...
Mike Wahle, movie critic at Angeles News and host of The Bachelor Zone on iTunes.
And I'm also a movie critic with the Angeles News, the Los Angeles Archdiocesan magazine. I also am a film critic with the Pasadena Weekly and a few other sites. And our other co-host, Tanya Yarbrough, very funny Catholic comedian, is off this week. Will be back next week with us. But this week we're going to be talking about lots of hot stuff as always, such as a recap of this year's Oscars this past Sunday, the movement for inclusion writers, which we'll explain if you didn't see that on the Oscars, the faith-related messages in A Wrinkle in Time, the Freeform, and other channels coming up with the I'm Not Sorry or bleeping out sorry movement for women tonight on their shows, the prospect of a Sopranos prequel, and finally, we should be able to finally really dig in and give our praises to Crashing after a couple weeks of bumping it like Matt Damon on Jimmy Kimmel. So anyways, thanks for listening, folks. So Michael, what'd you think of the Oscars this week?
From an entertainment standpoint, I thought it was a pretty good broadcast. It was definitely too long, but that's to be expected. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is to that.
Oh, it was really long. It was like really 4 hours.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's going to take more than a jet ski. I thought that was at least a good try to
try to get. Did they ever announce who won the jet ski? He should have picked one.
It was. If I recall correctly, I think it was a costume designer whose speech was 1 minute and 36 seconds or something like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are no more Joe Pesci's who just say, "This is my great honor, thank you," and then step off. Like those days are long gone.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, I thought the Academy for the most part did a pretty good job this year. Shape of Water, it wasn't my very favorite of the nominees, but it was probably one of my top 3, 4, 5 of the films. Definitely a beautiful film. The cinematography was unbelievable. Just the production design, great. Interesting love story and also kind of a caper aspect to it. I definitely enjoyed that one. The one thing is I think that there are way too many Laker fans in the Academy because I saw all the animated shorts and Dear Basketball was good, but I do not think it was the best one in that group. But it was a good short. The biggest snub for me was Remember Me from Coco. Within the context of that movie, it's very poignant. But as a standalone song, I did not think that was the best song. I thought it was definitely "This Is Me" from Greatest Showman.
Oh my God! I mean, like when you think about the showmanship, no pun intended, or pun intended perhaps.
I'll take it.
My goodness! I mean, Gail Garcia Bernal, what a horrible rendition of that "Remember Me" song. It's like I couldn't have sung it worse at karaoke night, drunk.
I was relieved when Miguel came in and kind of tapped him out for the second half of it because it was not going well for old Gail.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. And then then This Is Me. It just was a spectacular.
What a number,
rendition. I mean. My goodness, and such a powerful message. I highly recommend that movie. If people haven't seen it, The Greatest Showman should have been up for a lot more Oscars, frankly. It was up for Best Comedy or Musical at the Golden Globes, and it was, I think, Hugh Jackman, got much deserved nomination for it there, and just ridiculous that it wasn't nominated. There's one more space at the Oscars. Best Pictures, they could do up to 10. They only did 9. And 2 of the movies, in my opinion, were garbage. Anyway, Call Me By Your Name and Phantom Thread. So just a shame that got shut out. But, it's by the same guys who wrote the Oscar-winning songs for La La Land. So, they already got some gold, and I'm sure they're going to be up for plenty more over the years.
And that the woman who was kind of took the lead on the vocals, I don't know her name, unfortunately. I know that she played the bearded lady in Greatest Showman, but
she shaved for the show.
But wow, what she left it all out there. Like she was like there was like sweat pouring down, and
yeah.
I also I breathed a huge sigh of relief when Jordan Peele got the Best Original Screenplay for Get Out.
Because, a huge sigh of relief?
Yeah, because that script was just such a one-of-a-kind script, and he totally deserved it. And I was worried that maybe the the older, stodgier voters in the Academy weren't going to be able to pick up on its messages. But I was really happy he got that.
Yeah.
The one regret I have is Lady Bird should have won something.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's a shame that it's just like with every single category, there was just someone a little bit better. Like Laurie Metcalf was unbelievable, but Allison Janney was just a little bit better. And the script was great, but Get Out's might have been just a little more daring.
Oh, a lot more daring.
Yeah.
Come on.
And yeah, okay, I'll take that a lot more.
I mean, I love Lady Bird, but
you know what I mean though? Like in every category, it's just like it was good, but just like a little bit less than someone else.
Well, that's because she's a woman. No kidding. No, but I mean, the thing is, that raises an issue that some people noted. I was glad to see even among liberals. I'm when it comes to evaluating pop culture, I'm usually conservative and very liberal on some politics things. But anyway, just so people know where I come from, for myself at least. But the thing is that it was attacked on both sides of the awards because. Like Greta Gerwig, or not both sides, I just say that I noticed it, and then the people that are really back in the Me Too and the Time's Up stuff, they were like, okay, this is interesting. So we finally have a woman get nominated as director for the 4th time in history. We have a first-time woman cinematographer nominee, and neither of them wins. And neither Greta Gerwig gets. They make a big deal out of her movie getting like 4 nominations: writing, directing, Best Picture. 5 actually, probably Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, wins nothing. In a year where they're saying, "Oh, it's the year of the woman," and then I just kept laughing throughout the night as I watched one old white man after another get called up. Despite them lecturing us about how evolved Hollywood is now.
Right,
and then the other thing is Kobe Bryant. Okay, I can't remember exactly how it went down, but he had that skeezy weird trial. Years ago, he was basically accused of rape, and I know he got proven innocent because the woman was like really active, shall we say, with lots of people apparently. But the thing was that Kobe, it's surprising to see him win in that kind of context of we're calling men out, and then Gary Oldman. Is known for, or has been accused very many places of wife beating in 2001, and he wins Best Actor.
Right.
So it's like, boy, so you shut out the major women nominees that everybody was making such a big deal out of, and then you reward a guy who is all but proven as a wife beater, perhaps proven, and Kobe Bryant, with his bizarre scandal that still, sort of hangs over him.
My aunt actually texted me. She's like, "So much for me too, huh?"
Yeah, right. But and then the other thing is that Call Me by Your Name. I despise this movie. Probably went off on it in at least one of the other episodes. And the thing is, because in my opinion, I think it's trying to glamorize pedophilia. Some people see it different, fine, whatever. But enough people. I think I've seen articles on all sides of the spectrum saying that they also find it kind of creepy that it's about a 17-year-old boy having an affair with a 24-year-old man, and the casting made it very problematic because the 24-year-old man looks like he's 35 and the boy looks like he's 15 or 12. It's ridiculous. But the guy who wrote it was James Ivory, this legendary art house film guy, and he's 89, and it was his first movie in ages. And so they nominate him. And this movie is just terrible artistically, period, I think. But aside from the message. But the thing is, for him to... I predicted that he would win because he's 89 and because he's pushing the envelope on weird relationships. Hollywood always loves that. So he wins. And what does he do? He goes up wearing, under his tuxedo, a custom-made shirt with a cartoon, like a serious cartoon drawing of Timothée Chalamet, the boy in the movie.
Right.
I'm like, really? 89-year-old man, you're going to go up there with a drawing of a boy on your shirt in front of the world in a movie that is, accused by some of glamorizing pedophilia. Not the best optics. I mean, it was really creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I love caricatures just as much as the next guy, but like it definitely seemed like a an odd wardrobe choice.
I mean, yeah. And then they said, and Time Magazine said, "Oh, it was the greatest moment on the red carpet." Really? Time Magazine, thank you. No, and he's giving the shirt to the boy later, to the actor. It's not a boy, 22-year-old actor who looks like he's 12.
But he lost weight for it, like it was Christian Bale in The Machinist or something like that.
Oh, he really lost a lot of weight for the role?
I don't know if he lost, but his build is just naturally just like very like thin and wiry, so it made him look a lot younger than.
And he just kept giggling throughout the show. It was weird. His whole reaction, everything was like, it's like, okay.
I will say this about, I don't think, it felt less preachy to me, than it has in past years. Like, a couple years ago when there was the Oscars So White controversy, and, so Chris Rock had the opening monologue, and the opening monologue was brilliant, and I feel like it had to be addressed, and he did. But then after that, they just kept going back to it over and over and over again, beating us over the head with it. And at a certain point, I just thought to myself, guys, this isn't an educational program. Like, we're trying to do some entertainment here. But then 2 years later, you know, this was one of the most contentious years ever with Time's Up and Me Too, and even Black Lives Matter just coming just before that, and then also you know, the national tragedies with gun violence and stuff like that. Yeah. But I felt like none of the speeches ever felt, or any of the segments felt too preachy to me. It all seemed like it was in good taste, and I think Jimmy Kimmel did a good job of moving things along as much as he could and just making sure people had a good time. And I thought from an entertainment standpoint, again, it was I thought it was good.
Yeah. Well, one thing that stood out from the Oscars that's kind of moving on past them is the inclusion writer movement, which is a thing started by Frances McDormand. I don't know if you want to explain that for our listeners.
Sure. So if you saw Frances McDormand accept her award for Best Actress for Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, which was a terrific performance on her part, by the way, the very last thing she said at the end of the speech was 2 words, inclusion rider. And it didn't get a huge reaction, unfortunately, because not a lot of people knew what it meant. I know I didn't, so I was a little bit puzzled. But I went onto Google and looked it up. And actually, I saw on Google that the term spiked by like 700 million in the past week or something like that.
Wow.
So a lot of people were curious what she meant by that. And what she means is that you can have it written up in your contract that unless it doesn't serve the sensibility of the plot, that there needs to be an equal mix of ethnicities in the cast and the crew. So for example, if you're doing a film about Nazi Germany, of course you're not going to have an equal mix of races, because you need to kind of cast white European looking people for that.
Yeah.
But whenever it makes sense and can be done, then you mix it up equally, which I think is a great thing, actually.
Would it apply to Black Panther? For white people? I'm just kidding. Sorry, Michael.
No, that's a good point. Well, I mean, that's that one's based in Africa.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be sensible to go down the middle with that.
No, I'm making a joke. But, yeah, but Jordan, you mentioned Michael B. Jordan being part of this? Or?
Oh, we haven't yet.
Sorry.
Michael B. Jordan from Black Panther, he actually he's the first one that I've seen who has demanded it in all his movies from now on. And he's a big name, so that's a good example to set, and that could kind of set the wave going.
Hope it doesn't leave Sylvester Stallone and Drago out from Creed 2 as a result. Like, wait, I want to include a Black Rocky now or something. I'm just kidding. But I guess my first thought when I heard inclusion writer, I was like, huh? I guess it sounded like a movie or something, but not quite as exciting as Easy Rider or Ghost Rider. But I think this is a good movement. Bad joke. Sorry.
Yeah, I when she said, I thought she was talking about like Ride or Die or something like that.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, yeah, from now on, I will include the people that I want to ride or die with.
Yeah. So, well, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Another thing is, my mom's cousin, she's out in LA, and she's a movie executive, and she very kindly hosted me
I've got a script
for the Oscars. And when that came up, another thing that she mentioned is including things in the script.
Yeah.
It can be very small lines, but it can go a really long way. Like, for example, you could say he enters the boardroom, half of which are women. It's
I mean, no, I get that sort of, but it is sad that we have to spell it out like that.
I know, yeah. It's like it seems like it should just be that he enters the boardroom, and then it should be natural to mix it up naturally, half and half at that point. But it doesn't come naturally to people.
Yeah. Well, but I think another example of a movie that has already got this in practice, sort of.